Hello, this is Big Brother Motown once again, coming to you with another video on gain staging. I understand that it's a very important thing when it comes to managing studio sound and getting pristine audio without clipping, and some people are not quite aware of what that means or how to do it, so I'm here to help you out with that. Gain staging is basically the process of making sure that you have adequate gain without digital clipping at every stage in your audio signal path. So that means that from the time your signal leaves the source to the time it goes to the sub mixer, to the time it goes to the mixer, to the time it goes out to your speakers, it never hits a level that is clipping digitally or analog. And the more gear you have, the more opportunities there is to introduce that clipping into your recording. So as you amass larger amounts of gear, it's critical that you keep all of it staged properly gain wise so that you can get good clean sound and come out with better mixes and better productions. So the first thing, let's start from the end of the signal chain and work backwards. The first thing, speakers. The way I have my speakers set up in my studio is that as soon as I pull them out of the box, I know you can't really see back here because, let me see if I can get a little extra light to help out. Not really. The LED strips aren't doing much good back here, and I got sun coming in the window. But just suffice it to say that as soon as my, hold on. You might be able to see that where it says level at. As soon as I pull my speakers out of the box and set them up, I set the level to 0 dB or wherever the notch is, period. That's where I leave it. That's where I want it. A lot of people will adjust their monitors at the back depending on how loud they want the sound to go, and that's fine. That's up to you. But I set my monitors at 0. That way I know that the right monitor is matched to the left and they're set exactly at the same. That's why I prefer notched level adjustment on my monitors so that I can set them for exactly the same level. That is absolutely critical. So working backwards from there, the next place my sound would hit before it goes to the monitors is the big knob here. So my sound goes out from the big knob to the monitors. Before that, it comes from this sub mixer, the Behringer Eurorack. The Eurorack has all of my individual instruments in it. It has 8 stereo channels that you can sub mix into the Eurorack. So going into those 8 stereo channels, I have the MPC-X, the Chord Kronos X, the Roland Phantom X6, and the Roland XP80 over here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the TC Helicon Voice Live rack. All of those get sub-mixed into the Behringer before they come out and go into 2-track A of my big knob, and from there they are sent out to my monitors. Also, I got a subwoofer down here that's also set to 0. So all of my monitors are set to 0 off the top. If you look at my DAW, which is not a computer as most people's DAW is, it's an actual hard disk recorder because I'm old school like that. You see that monitor level is set for 0 also. That never moves. As soon as I pulled it out of the box, set it to 0, leave it there. When you record, your master level should always be set to 0, leave it there. Any other adjustments to the loudness of the sound need to be made elsewhere, and I'll show you that in a second. So, what I do on my keyboards is I always, or my outboard instruments I should say, I always set my levels to 3/4, about 2 or 1 o'clock on the dial. So you see my master there is set for 2 o'clock. If it's a rotary dial, that's how I set it. My master here is set for I don't know if you can see it because it's up in there and it's kind of dark, but it's set for 2 o'clock. Trust me, take my word on that. My volume on my Roland Phantom X6 is set for 2 o'clock, and the volume on this, because it is a slider, is set for probably 2/3 of the range. Okay, set my keyboards at that, and then I play them loudly. And when I play them loudly, it should be hitting my Behringer Eurorack, which is where the signal goes from these sources to the Eurorack. It should be hitting right at 0 dB. If it's not hitting at 0 dB, then I turn the channel down here on the Eurorack. So like for my Phantom X6, for instance, coming from over here, that comes into stereo channel 3 on my Behringer. So let's turn this down. See, I'm playing it over here. See how low it is? It's not loud enough because channel 3 is turned down. So if I need to adjust the volume and make it louder to where it hits 0 dB, this is where I adjust it at, not on the keyboards themselves. I want the keyboards to stay the way they are. That way, if I'm practicing and I'm sitting at a keyboard and it's too loud, I can turn it down a touch over here. But for recording purposes, I always want uniformity in the levels that I have my keyboards set at coming into the submixer. So now we got everything submixed to a proper level where the Chord Kronos hits at 0, the Phantom X hits at 0, and the same thing with the XP80, which is out of my reach right now. So once we get everything set to where it hits 0 on here, it should live in 0, maybe go a touch above sometimes, never clip. Once we get all of those volumes set in the Eurorack, then I come to the Behringer, the Mackie Big Knob. This is another stage in the process. So we got to make sure that the signal coming out of the Eurorack hits the Big Knob at the same thing, 0 dB. So now let's check it. Chord Kronos hitting right at the 0. Phantom X6 hitting right at the 0. That's the Korg again, hitting right at the 0. So that's how we want it. Remember, we got the big knob here. So we also have inputs on the back of the big knob for gain control. So what I like to do is set my knob straight up in the middle and then adjust my gain in the back until it's loud enough to hit the zeros. Once I get that set, I never touch those in the back again. They're set for life. Now all I got to do is go with the big knob to go up, to go down. Another thing that you'll notice is when you do this properly, the amount of audio hits that you hear will be at a minimum. Now, right now, I'm sitting at half volume. You can hear how loud the keyboard is, but you don't hear any hiss coming out of my speakers. I've got to turn my speakers all the way up to there for you to start to hear a small, tiny amount of hiss. So this is one of the benefits to proper gain staging, is that you get good full sound, but you don't get the noise or the hiss that goes along with it. I hope this was of a help to somebody. Once again, like I said, it's important to stay in your stage your gain. Sorry, can't talk. Stage your gain properly so that you can get good, clean sound, get pristine mixes, and great productions. Once again, this is Big Brother Motown, and I'm out.